Hello. Hey Vic, Alina, how you guys doing? Jay and Ash? We are going to begin shortly. We'll give it another minute or two and then we shall begin. Hope you guys are all well. Make sure you've got some water. The space is clear around you before we start. Let's begin, and then if anyone joins us they can just join in as we're going along. So welcome to the 9th live stream covering Wing Chun, well-being and fitness. So make sure the space around you is clear before you start. There's nothing around you that you're going to hit, and that you have some water handy so you can have a drink throughout the training. We're going to start off with a warm-up. So take your time when we're doing it. We're going to go through the whole body and I will explain to you how we integrate the movements that we're practicing in our warm-up into our martial arts training as we're doing it. So don't rush through any of the motions. Take your time and let's do this. Hey hon, good to hear from you, buddy. Hey Charlotte, don't worry with you. I've got some exercise planned at the end for everyone. Okay, let's begin our warm up. So make sure the space is clear. And we're going to start off, just stand shoulder width, bend your knees. We're going to start off with our neck, so we're just looking up and down. Don't rush the motion, try and get a full stretch. And looking left and right. Again, keep your torso forward, just stretch your neck, so isolate your neck, look as far as you can go. And we're going to circle our head all the way around, so look all the way to the side, come down, and all the way around. Just go 5 times in each direction. You can breathe in for half the motion, breathe out for the other half. And the other way. It's weird doing the live streams after the Zoom classes, because I can see you guys in the Zoom classes, but on the live stream I can't see you, so it's kind of weird. Shoulders forward, big circles, and bring your elbows all the way to your ears. Nice and loose. And backwards. So just keep going nice and loose. Elbows circling, so bring your arms out. Try and just focus on the elbow. In both directions. We're going to take our whole arm, our right arm, circling forward, keep it close to your ear. Again, make sure there's no one next to you or you're not going to hit anything. Really loose arm, and backwards. It's part of the flying arms training in martial arts. I'm going to do a figure 8, so we're going to bring our arm in front and it comes behind. In front. Then keep your torso loose for this when you come behind. So you're drawing a figure 8, so it comes up, round, up, down. Give it a go. If you've not done it before, sometimes it takes a little time to get it. If you're one of my students, then you're advanced at this now. Okay, let's change arms. Your left arm forward, nice and loose. You want to try and feel the weight of your arm. You can place your hand on your center and backwards. You can bring your hand on your center. And you start to feel where you're generating power from, where your movement's starting. We're aiming for our center of our gravity, which is roughly an inch behind our belly button. And figure 8. So we've just gone through our head, shoulders, elbows. We're going to do our wrists. Bring our hands together and just push down. My camera's not completely straight, I just realised. Keep your palms together and then separate, so stretch your fingers. Then we're going to switch the other way. Keep your palms together and push up. And then separate, stretch your fingers. Just gives it a bit of an extra stretch. Nice. Hands on your waist, just rotating all the way around. Keep your feet shoulder width. At first just let your body go, so you can go as big as you want. Keep your balance obviously. And then I want you to keep your head in the center. Imagine your head's being pulled up by a string. Try and keep it in the center and let your body, the rest of your body stay moving. So we're keeping a pliable lower half, but we're maintaining our posture, which is a bit different than what we just done, like this. So try both. Try keeping your head where it is and still being able to move your lower half. Okay, nice and loose. We're going to rotate. Arms totally loose. Drive the motion from your glutes and your hips. So start it from your glutes and your hips. Arms completely loose. Keep your hips forward. Let's move on to our hips, circling. And the other way. A bit of balance as well. Other leg. Both directions. Right foot ankle. So lift up your heel and we're just going to circle the ankle in both directions. Let's change feet. And both ways. Shake out, kick out. Shake your body out. Grab a drink just before we start. I've got my light. Oh hey Bailey. Nice to have you here. Awesome. So, just come standing shoulder width apart. But just to explain some of the things we've just done. Our head, we started off with our neck, keeping a loose neck. And all the way around. This is important. If you ever do get hit, you can still dissipate some of the pressure coming in by letting it go. If you're really stiff neck, then if something hits you, it ricochets through your whole body. So if you keep loose, you can still absorb some of it by keeping a loose neck. You just always bring it back to center after. Our shoulders that we were doing. This is our third line of defense after our arm. And what that means is if a punch was coming in and we blocked it or parried it with our hand, That's our first line of defense if our hands are forward. If a punch made it past our wrist, so if a punch got past it and we didn't block it with our hands, then we'd use our elbows or along our forearm to cover. If a punch made it past there, then we've got our shoulder that we can use to cover our chin or cover a strike as well. So there are 3 lines of defense. So that's why a simple motion like this is actually practicing your defense as well, even circling our shoulders. And then warming up our elbows and our wrists, because we use our joints to generate power in Wing Chun. So we're loosening off our joints and building up a mind and joint connection really here, an understanding of how we're using our joints. So when we're striking after, we can keep everything loose and we can strike quickly with really hardly any effort, and all the power comes from our wrists, our elbow, and keeping a loose shoulder to drive our strikes, and there's really no effort with it. So this is one of the basic principles of Wing Chun, so even in the warm-up you're learning this. Same with everything else we did, loosening off the hips and circling. We can use these motions to cover our center line. If someone tries to kick to our groin, we can cover easily. We can cover and then kick out, and also it loosens our kicks. For when we're striking, we want to bring our kick back quickly. So if we're throwing a kick like this, if you do a stamp kick, but either way we get used to pulling our leg back quick in case we have to move after, or we could do a snap like this and we're ready to move again after. And this all comes from the looseness, being able to create these whips in our strikes, understanding of our joints, and being able to do that allows us to generate more speed and power in everything we're doing in our Wing Chun, which is a loose, relaxed, explosive, quick martial art. So, just before we begin our drilling training, we're going to do a meditation. So we always do our meditation before we begin our training, and that's to loosen off our body and be able to focus on the training that's going to come, and make sure we can clear our mind of any thoughts that we don't need in there. So when we're practicing our meditation, we start off by trying to focus on one thing, our breathing. That's our reference point that we always come back to. And if any other thoughts start coming in, we just go back to our breathing. So this is our first stage of our meditation. And if it's your first time doing it, you can do a seated or a standing, it's completely up to you. I'm going to be doing standing today, so you can join me on that if you like. If you're one of my students or done this for a while, then come to standing and we'll do that. If you're doing a seated, I'll just show you. We bring our thumb on the inside of our hand, and this position represents connectivity. It's like a handshake with yourself and total body harmony. So if you're doing a seated position, you can just sit with your legs folded and against the wall or the back of a chair. If you would like to, it's completely fine. And if we're doing our standing meditation and you want to join in on that, we're going to stand shoulder width apart. Toes are going to be straight, so make sure they're not pointed out or in. We just want them straight underneath us. Hips, we're going to tuck our hips underneath us to straighten out our lower back. So our bottom isn't sticking out, we're not pushing our hips forward, we're just tucking it in. If you think of your hips like a plant pot and you're pouring water in, you wouldn't want the plant pot tipping forward or the water would fall out, or you wouldn't want it tipping backwards, again all the water would fall out. So if we think our spine on top of our hips and our hips being a plant pot, we want to keep them directly underneath us. So we're going to tuck our hips in underneath us, and we're going to pull our head to the sky. So we don't want our head jutted forward, or when I say pull your head to the sky, most people do this. We don't want to look up either. We want to imagine actually, if I get my top knot, or you imagine the strings on right on the top of your head and it's pulling you up like this, and this will straighten out your spine. So we're going to keep our body as straight as possible when we're doing this. We're going to have a slight bend in the knees. So we're going to drop our knees slightly to bend them down. Arms are going to come out to our side. We're going to imagine we've got a ball where our elbows are and our body, so they're slightly out. This is going to be on the side of your body, nice and relaxed. I'm going to close our eyes, nice and steady breathing. You can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, which is what I actually prefer, but you can also breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. The main thing is the breathing's nice and steady, not rushed, and you just keep a nice rhythm in your breathing. So I'm going to use some music. We normally use holosync beats or music to assist our meditation when we're training inside. If I'm outside meditating down by the river here in Guildford, we've got a lot of greenery here, I can go out to the forest, then I normally just listen to the sounds around me, which is quite nice. But when I'm inside, rather than listening to my washing machine or something like that, I normally use music to help assist my meditation. So today I'm actually going to use just rain, thunder, and a fire crackling. So let me know if you can't hear it, hopefully you'll be able to hear it. But choose your position and we're going to go a short meditation straight into it. Close your eyes as well, and that helps you focus inwards instead of outwards. Okay, just grab a drink and we will begin our training. We're going to be working on elbows today. You should really, when you're doing it, especially the standing meditation, you'll start to feel your center of balance a lot more and build up more of an understanding of where your actual balance is, as well as getting rid of any unnecessary tension. Like I can feel my shoulders start to relax off a bit after a while, because obviously you build up a lot of tension around here, and you don't realise sometimes if you're always moving or always doing things, you don't realise sometimes you have to stop and just focus on your breathing. So we're going to begin, we're going to work on elbows today actually. Decided we work on some elbows, and they're a great tool for when you're close in, so we're going to work on them. So once you've had a drink, make sure you've got some space. Feet together. The first thing we're going to do is open up our basic stance, our square on stance. So our first stance is facing square on to someone, generally how we normally stand. And to do that, if anyone's new, I just break it down. If anyone's, well, a lot of you are my students, so you've done this a lot. Focus on the clarity and being very precise with what you're doing, and don't rush through it, just build up the quality of what you're doing. The slower you go, the quicker the more you bring up the quality of what you're doing. So focus on what you're doing more. If you're new, it's the first time, just try and copy and get how we're doing it down. So bring your feet together, hands by your side. We're going to bring our arms forward, pull back, bend our knees so we drop our weight down, and we point our toes out, and then we bring our heels out. And our toes are slightly pointed in, we're making a triangle, a strong shape, a really strong structure. Triangles used in bridges and all sorts of structures because it's a strong shape. And it also, for us in Wing Chun, it's our focal point because we're always striking towards the center line, so we want to bring all our focus to that point. And when we close, heels, toes, push down. So we open, we bring our arms forward, draw them back, bend our knees to drop our weight to the ground, toes out, heels out. And when we close, heels, toes, and push down. So arms come forward, draw back, bend our knees, keep your head pulled to the sky to maintain your posture, toes out, heels out. And when we close, heels, toes, and push down. It's very important to close properly as well. Don't rush through it or just throw your hands down at the end. If you've been doing it a while, make sure that when you're opening, your head stays on the same level so you're not wobbling like this. And also that you're not opening and leaning like this. Just the whole time you want to keep your head on the same level and keep your body perfectly straight. Let's just try going through the whole motion, open and close, a couple of times. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. We bring our arms forward. We pull back. Bend our knees. And close. Last time. Open. So this first motion, you can stay in your stance now. You can stay in your stance. This first motion is actually for my senior students and then everyone. This is actually a back fist anyway, coming down to the nose, over like this. So it's a loose, quick strike. It's not a power strike, but it's a loose, quick strike. Boom. We use these motions a lot in our drills, and we use back fists a lot. Because when you're close in with someone, back fists are really hard to stop because they're so quick. So they might not be a powerful strike, but if you're precise with it, you do this onto someone's nose or to their eye, then it's quite an effective strike. So when we open our stance, we're practicing that. Our basic stance. Weight drop to the ground. Make sure your back's flat and your head's pulled to the sky. So we're going to go and do some elbows. So we're actually going to take the third form elbow, which is a diagonal downwards elbow coming down. And it's going to look like this. I'll show you how we're going to practice it. We're going to come over one, second one, and then pull our hands back. Every time you do it, and you cut that diagonal line, because we're coming from diagonal up, diagonal down from our shoulder to our hip, we're then going to pull our hand back to our basics. We're actually doing two elbows. We're doing a diagonal down, and then boom, an elbow backwards. So we're going to go one count, two elbows, and it's just like you're swimming. So this is a really powerful elbow. You can use it when you're close into someone. If you're really close, elbows are super powerful. We add in our pivot after. You can also use it, this sort of thing, if someone grabs your wrists, you just come over, and it's really easy to break because you use your whole body to come over, and then you can go into a back fist. Boom, boom. So these elbows you can use for breaking wrists. You can also use it in chi style very easily. So when you're doing your drills, you can just come over, boom. And also you can use it for parries. If someone throws a punch, you can parry and then elbow off it. So they're really effective strike, and we use a lot of elbows in Wing Chun, but this is one from the third form that we used. So we're going to go one, dum, pum, and back. Let's give it a go. We're going to start off slowly to get the positioning and get the technique right. One, again imagine swimming over. Two, hand opens when you're doing it, so your hands are loose. Three. 4. 5, loose shoulders. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So we're going to put a bit more energy in now. Still stay nice and relaxed. If it's your first time doing it, you don't need to rush. I'm going to do a pause in between the count, so there's no rush to get to the next one. Just still focused on the quality of your movement. If you're more a senior student or you've been training martial arts for a while, you can start using your center, like nice and loose, but use your center to drive the elbow instead of just using your arm. So we're just going to go up to say 50 to 60%. If you're using your center, don't make it really big motions. Still keep it as minimal as possible, but just add in your breathing, and we'll go up to 50 to 60% with this count. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again head to sky, flat back. 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. We're going to do one more set, 70 to 80%. So I'm still going to have a pause in between, but a bit more energy now. Add in your breathing, so breathe out when you're doing the motions, and stay nice and loose with your body still, but remember, base drop, so bend your knees, tuck your hips underneath you and keep your head pull to the sky. So with our right arm first, let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, from there, feet together. Push down, relax, grab a drink. So these elbows, you can also use them defensively because it's just like a bong sao where you can flip into it. So if a punch is coming in, you can take it off the line of attack using your elbow. Actually, Mayweather uses moves like this quite well, and he even punches vertical. So boom, when he's doing it, which is actually very similar to Wing Chun. But yeah, you can use it, boom, but in Wing Chun we flow off it. So we wouldn't necessarily always block and then strike or move like this. We could flow off that bong sao. So you could take a off the line of attack and go straight into a back fist, or you could take it off the line and then go into a chop and then punch. So we can do multiple movements off one arm, which is something quite unique to Wing Chun. But yeah, this is actually very similar. This is the same, it can be used as a strike, it can be used to defend something that's coming in. And the advantage of a diagonal line is that it covers more space. So if I did a vertical elbow, it doesn't cover as much space. So really someone could punch either side of that. Whereas if I did a diagonal down or diagonal up, I cover more space, so it's more likely to intercept something coming in. That's one of the advantages. But normally a diagonal line is not going to be as quick as a linear line. So it's not as quick normally, but it covers more space. So we normally do our vertical and horizontal elbows as well, but we're going to focus on diagonal today. We're going to do a diagonal upwards now. And again, all this stems from our cross guard, right from the beginning, the first beginning of our form. This all motion all stems from our cross guard. So if we bring our feet together, arms forward, pull back, bend your knees, toes out, heels out. We're now going to come with our right hand, we'll start again, upwards diagonal. So think of cutting a line from your hip to your shoulder. We're going to go 1, open your hand, make sure your hand comes to the side of your face and it doesn't poke you in the eye. So you're opening your hand, so make sure it comes off to the side. We're going to go 1, 2 like this. And we always come back with our arms to here. We'll do this slow first. So you're learning 2 diagonal lines here, coming down and up. Nice and loose, loose shoulders, body drop to the ground. Let's start off with our right hand. Let's do a set to get precision first, so a warm-up set, don't rush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go 50 to 60% power, so a bit more energy now. If you can, use your center just to start the motion and throw your body into it like this. Boom, boom. You don't want to overdo it, so we're not turning too far. But by compressing this little movement here, you can, boom, you can generate a lot of power. The more you practice it, you'll get used to it. So more higher level, you should be using this If it's your first time again doing it, get the positioning, but try and add a bit more energy. Challenge yourself. Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last set, let's go 70 to 80%. When we're doing any strikes in the air, any drills, we normally do a lot of drilling on, we never go 100%. So, or if we do, we only do it for a few reps, because obviously if you're doing a lot of reps at 100% of anything, you get wear and tear on your joints in the long run. You should be saving your 100% for heavy bags, wall bags, wooden dummy, because they give you a stopping point for your joints if you're punching something. If you don't and you keep throwing, you end up boom, boom, boom to your joints. So with the elbow, it's still pretty safe because we're keeping our bend in our arm. But just as reference for when you're practicing punches, even when we're punching, we always keep a slight bend in our elbow, so we're not doing this in the air over and over again, which is going to not be great for your joints. But save that for when you're practicing on a wall bag, wooden dummy, or heavy bag. So let's go at 70 to 80%. Right hand first, coming up the upwards diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Bring your left foot to your right. Push down. Grab a drink if you need to grab a drink. We're going to do one more elbow. I'm going to do one more before time's up. So we're going to add a bit of footwork into it, otherwise we're on the spot the whole time. And obviously we're always moving into movement. So when we're training our basic stance, we are training getting used to being square onto someone, how we normally stand, but we're isolating motions. So obviously you're not going to stand here and fight like this, but we're isolating certain motions here. We're isolating our upwards and downwards diagonal elbows to practice them. And then we integrate them back into movement after, where we can just throw any elbows we want, change our lines of attack and use our footwork as well, and combine it with punching, chops, palms, everything. So I don't want to do a bit of movement, otherwise we've just been on the spot the whole time. So what we're going to do, I'll just show you first, so just watch. We're going to imagine our triangle. We're going to step to that tip of that triangle with either leg, but we bring our leg in first. So we bring our leg to our other leg. My weight is all on this leg that I've come to. And then we step our leg forward, but when we step forward, we're not going to go onto one leg. We're actually going to do an arrow walk or a launch step. So what that means is, when we go forward, my back leg catches up. So we're going to go leg in, forward to the tip of the triangle, back leg catches up. Watch again. Leg comes in, all my weight's on one leg, and I shoot forward to the tip of the triangle. We bring our weight onto one leg and then forward, so we make sure that we're moving our whole weight forward when we're practicing this particular step. But the top of the triangle is the point you're aiming for. Back leg catches up. I'm probably not going to teach the arrow walk right now, because if you haven't done it before, that's a whole nother lesson. But you can still just practice the step, it's fine. Just keep your knees bent as you're stepping. Stay as close to the ground as possible. Maximum connection with the ground for as long as possible. So if you come up against anything, you're connected to the ground. Remember, Wing Chun is a short range art, so that's why a lot of the time we're quite flat footed, because if someone starts pushing into you, you need a base. If you're on your toes and you're in close, it's very easy to someone to not just grab you, pull you around. So we're dropping our base. That's why we're quite flat-footed in Wing Chun. Further distance, then yeah, you'd go on the ball of your foot for mobility. But because we're close in, grappling range up, we're more flat-footed. So let's just try without the elbow first. We're going to add in an elbow in a second. Let's open up your stance. Imagine a tip of a triangle in front of you. Keep your hands pulled back for now. We're going to bring our left leg into our right. Go forward, let our back leg catch up. And then we're going to step our back leg back and step our other leg back as well. And we're going to come back to triangle. So don't worry if you don't get it the first time, it doesn't matter. Then we bring our right leg in, forward, rear leg catches up. We stay straight the whole time. Left leg is going to step back, we bring our right leg back to a square on stance. So whatever leg catches up, that's the one that's going to step back as well, because that's closest to that direction. So left leg in, forward, we step back and bring our other leg back. Right leg in, forward, then we step back and bring our other leg back. Probably a bit advanced for a beginner, but give it a go anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's give it a go. We're going to go one and back. Let's go to bring our left leg in first. One, and back. Two, right leg in, and back. Three, and back. Four, back. Make sure your base is set. 5, back. Let's do one more. 6, weight all into one leg, and out, and back. So what we're going to do now, shake out your legs if you need to, is add in our vertical elbow. So just like the diagonal upwards one we did, but this time the hand stays on that side and just comes straight up. You're doing vertical, so you're coming straight up. But you need to keep the elbow close into your head. So don't have it open, but you keep it right in on your head and bring it straight up. So it look like this. Again, this can be an attack. It could be you can use it defensively to cover, and many other things. But the main thing is keep your hand open, loose, tuck your head close in, maintain your head to the sky, and keep it really tight in. We're going to add this in on the step. It look like this. So just watch first. Whatever leg's going to come forward, we're going to throw an elbow in on that side like this. Boom. I'll do it forward as well. You're going to come in, so we're going to elbow this side. Boom. So we're stepping in, and we're throwing a vertical elbow straight up. Let's do some slow ones. If you came out your stance, just open your stance back up. Let's do some slow ones, and then we'll go a bit faster. But there's no rush for this, because you need to make sure that once you've put your feet down, your weight's planted while you're striking. So don't rush it. Let's bring our left leg into our right first. Step forward, so we're going to do a left elbow, vertical elbow coming straight up. 1. And then we're going to step back with our right foot. Back. Other side. 2. Back. 3. Back. 4. Back. 5. Back. 6. Back. 7. Tip of the triangle. Back. 8. Step to the tip of the triangle. Back. Just keep your arm loose, don't focus too much on it. 9. Just make sure it comes up vertical. Back. 10. back. We'll just do a couple tiny bit quicker. So don't go too much quicker that you lose your structure, you lose your step, your footwork. When we're practicing footwork, adding footwork into it, that's the most important part. So the footwork is setting you in the position, well, getting you off the line of attack in this case, and then getting you back in for the strike anyway. So the footwork's most important. You need your base set when you strike. You don't want to be sort of stepping and off balance when you're doing it. You want to be grounded and be able to deliver a strike with your whole body and structure. So maximum connection to the ground. We'll just go a little bit quicker. Say that was like 5%, let's just go to 25%. So a little bit quicker, let's give it a go. 1, and back. 2, back. 3, back. 4, back. 5, back. 6, back. 7, back. 8, back. 9, back. 10, back. Excellent. Left foot to right, so we bring our feet in and we just push down to close. Well done. If that's your first time doing it, really well done. So grab a drink, we're going to do a little bit of exercise for our core and our structure. Obviously, structure and your core strength's really important in martial arts. And this kind of training that we're going to do, these isometrics, doesn't matter how big you are, they're going to make you really strong for your size. And also, because we're under a lot of time under tension, we're also going to strengthen our bones. But when we're doing any of these, let me show you the positions first. Make sure that you're not in an uncomfortable position for you. If you have any injuries, then make sure you're training safely. And also, if you're holding any of these positions and you come out of it, as soon as you can, jump back in. So we've been working on this, my students, the last couple months. These positions, and I'll just show you the positions now. Again, if you've got a mat or something, you're welcome to get that and put it underneath. Position 1, hands underneath our shoulders. We tuck our hips in, we squeeze our glutes and we squeeze our abs. Lift your head up. This is our first position. So it's like a plank, but with your arms straight. Position 2, after you've done that one, is our tiger position. If you can, just go straight to the position. Don't drop down and come back up. Position 2, we bring our knees just off the ground and we push our lower back out and we hold this position. This is our position 2. Position 3, I'll show you as we're doing it again anyway, is on one side. So this is good for your shoulder strength and stability. Again, make sure that if it's too tough for you, you can come down on your arm. But if you're okay, go up on your hand, reach up to the sky, and make sure your hips not dropping down, but they're lifted up. And then we're going to change sides to the other side. And then we're going to go to position 4. We put our legs straight out, hands by your side, fingers forward, and we lift. We lift up our hips and we want to be straight again. So we don't let them drop down, we push them up. It's position 4. Position 5. From there we're going to go bend our knees and make a box underneath us. So we've gone from here to here. And then we got position 6. We straighten our legs out and we keep our back off the ground and we're straightening our legs just off the ground. And then position 7, tailbone balance. We lift our legs up, so you can see, you can point your toes straight hands by your side, and that's our final position. So if you can, do them all in a row, but if you do drop down or you come out of a position, it's fine, just go back into it as quick as you can. So I hope you're ready. I've got my watch, I've got a specific time we're going to do each one, but again, if it's really difficult and you fall out of it, just come back in, work it to your level. Some of you just getting in the position for 10 seconds might be difficult, some it'd be easy, so you could just go all the way through it. But it's not easy, to be honest. If you want to challenge yourself, don't touch the ground at any point, even when we're transitioning. So grab a drink and get ready. I'm going to go position 1, arms straight. Find your position, arms underneath you, let's go. Go for it. So steady breathing, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your abs. Again, this really helps you build up a strong core, strong structure, no matter how big you are. Have your arms straight. Consistent breathing. I've been doing this with my weighted jacket, which is just another level of toughness. It's literally my weighted jacket's 68 kg, so it's like having another me on me while I'm doing it. If you come out of it, just go back into it. Okay, we're moving on to position 2, so bring your knees in and just off the ground. Knees in, just off the ground. Push your lower back out. Again, steady breathing, breathe through it. Pain is your friend, means you're getting stronger. And like I said, this is going to strengthen your bones as well. This time under tension. Just go back into it once if you drop. Steady breathing. Control with your breathing. Position 3. We're going to go up. We'll do this one a bit shorter, but we're going to go up onto one side, arm up in the air, because we're going to do both sides. So remember, the variation is to go on your forearm if you can't stabilize. Again, this is going to strengthen your shoulders. Reach your other arm straight up into the air. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the other side. Keep your hips up. Change sides. Try and transition quickly. Your weight should be on your right leg, not on your left leg. So that way you have to lift up your hips. Reach other hand up to the sky. Steady breathing. Stabilize. And come down, position 4. Straight out with your body, hips up to the sky. So lift your hips up, don't let them sag down. Steady breathing. Try and create a straight structure. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your abdominals, so we can strengthen the whole of your core. Not just your abs, but the whole of your core. Just Breathe through it. If you drop, just come back up into it. Steady breathing. This is good because you can do these exercises anywhere. Okay, position 5. Bring your hands in and push your hips up so you're making a box. So yeah, you can do these exercises anywhere. That's the great thing about them. You can always, wherever you are, you can do this. And you can vary the time you do it. You can vary many things when you're practicing it. You could do shorter, but then do more. Go through it twice, 3 times. You could do it while you're watching TV. I like to do things while I'm watching something. Stretches or exercise. Holding positions. So push your hips up. Focus on your breathing. Position 6. Your hands out, your legs out. Back up off the ground, feet up off the ground. Focus on your breathing. It's a tough one, integrating your whole core to lift up your legs and your torso. Steady your breathing, hands by your side. If you come out of it, just go back into it. Squeeze your abs, your glutes. This one's good for your abs. Last position, we're going to bring our knees up. Final position. Our tailbone or coccyx balance. So this is also good for balance training. And just developing your core. If you come out of it, just go back into it. Steady your breathing. Control your breathing. Nearly there. Steady, controlled breathing. And relax. Come to standing if you can. If you've done this before, come up onto your knees, hands together and then stand. I haven't taught that, but if you know it, you know it. Okay, before you grab a drink, feet together, left hand Wu Sao, so our prayer hand or our guard hand, right hand fist. We bring our hands together, and this is how we pay respects. So I'll show you closer in. Make sure your posture's right. Left hand Wu Sao, right hand fist, and pay respects. It's the same as defense and attack. Could be either way. And soft and hard, or hard and soft. That's what this represents. But we always do this at the end of our training. Feet together and pay respects. Right, well done everyone. Grab a drink. It's tough, they're tough. After doing them with my weighted jacket, I still feel it from the other day as well. But well done. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And well done for doing all of it, if you made it all the way through. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. We had from our meditation earlier with the rain and thunder. I think it's going to be, in England anyway, it's going to be raining over the weekend. So you can use that now. If it rains, you can use that as an aid to your meditation. So enjoy your weekend. If you're with the classes with me tomorrow, I'll see you guys then. And if you've just joined for today's stream, then I hope you enjoyed it and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if you have any questions, just drop me a comment or you can send me a message. But other than that, thanks for joining in with it, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, you can just let me know now. I'll leave it for another minute. And then, well, the weekend will begin. Oh cool, I didn't think of that. That's good. Nice, Bailey. Hey, my pleasure, Angelique. Thanks for the feedback as well. Thanks for doing all the puzzles. I really enjoyed them actually. So many times when I was doing them, I just started, when I was building it, I started just doing the puzzles. There's some new stuff coming over the weekend as well. Hey, my pleasure, hon. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. Good to see you. Kind of. Virtually. After our Dijon trip, where we learned special abilities. That was a good trip, I enjoyed that. It was good meeting you and good to... Thanks. I'll let you know when I do another one. You're always welcome to join. And remember, if you ever come to the UK, let me know. I'll see you guys, I'll see you Logan, Angelique and Logan tomorrow. And I'm glad you enjoyed the puzzles. Pirate Queen's pretty cool, I thought. I want to wish all your family well and I hope that everyone's safe. And we'll definitely speak soon. Alright team, I'll see some of you tomorrow. See some of you next time when I do a live stream, if you're just joining for the streams. And yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Charlotte, Darren, hope you're all good. Alright team, thanks once again.